conduct this session, we have our Toastmaster Nikhil. Toastmaster Nikhil is from Mulund Toastmasters Club, right? Mulund? Yeah. He is a CA, LLB and an MBA from IIM Bangalore. He is a finance professional and he's been with Toastmasters for more than 7 years. And he's been a District 98 Evaluation Speech Champion. District 98 Evaluation Speech Champion, Toastmaster Nikhil.
Okay, am I audible? I have a problem with my throat today and I went to my doctor and challenged him. For last 3 days he was giving me medicines and said, is this the best you can do? So in the afternoon he has given me some really heavy medication. I don't think I have to go and party today. I'll just have a double dose and the buzz is already in. So if I am not very clear, please let me know. I may repeat some points. I'm going to speak to you for half an hour on things what I think are important when it comes to evaluation. I'm going to teach you my tricks and techniques. Is it okay if I walk around you? Okay.
See that if you're coming.
Hopefully this should work. If you have an online audience, ask them. No?
No.
Oh no. Okay. So I'm going to give you some rules which I follow when I do evaluations. And the idea is for you to pick them up today and just copy paste. And over a period of time you do your own cheat sheets and works and how do you process and do this evaluation. The things which I'm teaching you I learned over 2-3 years, then I was able to clear the evaluation contest. But I also learned that I'll do it. You sit down, please don't stand. Okay? I'll change it here, don't worry. Okay? So this is what we are going to do. Half an hour I'm going to give you gyan. I've already given some printouts for cheat sheets. We'll do that. And we'll have 2 speakers today. When they deliver their test, you can use my cheat sheet, make your notes. Then we'll have a mock evaluation contest. The evaluators will go out, they will come line by line, one after another. Okay? And the test speaker will be sitting here. He will be operated, dissected, closed by the speaker. Then the second one will come and do the same thing again. So 6-7 operations. So we'll wish them all the best. Who are the speakers today? Sadish, you are? Okay, good. You should sit down. Okay. So this is the idea overall. If you have questions or something, we can go in the flow. But I want to know one thing. How many of you are new to Toastmasters, like less than 1 year? Oh my God. And more than 2 years? Okay. Is that the last bench of this room? Or the last bench are sitting? Okay, great. So I've been with Toastmasters for 7 years and the best thing about Toastmasters for me is evaluation. I've been working in corporate for so long. Every time I go to my boss or my peers and say, oh, I made this presentation, I presented the budgets and everything. How was it? Acha. What can I do better? Use PPT. Make animations. This kind of generic feedback. Nobody tells about, as a speaker, how do you evolve in corporate. At the most, they will come and say, acha tha. Kya acha tha? What can be repeated? What can be made better? Corporate doesn't give you that. Many times you're competing with the same set of people and sometimes your boss doesn't want to overact in front of his bosses. So he will never encourage you. So this kind of things you also learn and pass on. I think Toastmasters is the only place where you learn how to give feedback, but also in the right way. And that's what we'll cover in some time. But before I start again, I got a sense of a lot of people are new over here. So I'll go in a little bit more detail. So people who are a little bit more experienced, please don't mind. But I want to know from you, which is your favorite part of a Toastmasters meeting? Like I told, my part is evaluation. Can you just put it on the scale? You know Mentimeter how to use? So you have to go on your mobile, menti.com, and there is a code over there. If you put it on your mobile, you can start putting responses. So there are different roles. Okay, you go on menti.com and put in the code. They will ask for the code and you just rank which as per you is your first preference, second preference, third preference. It will take 2 minutes. If anybody doesn't have a mobile, I can give mine. We are what, 20 people over here around?
20.
Yeah. Can you see some responses? So I have put in areas of speaking in Toastmasters, like we deliver a prepared speech, humorous or ISC or your normal project. We have table topics. We have evaluation. We have a general evaluation, which is evaluation of a meeting as a whole. Then there is a team mode section, which is helping conduct the meeting, tag roles, and finally the team mode is the 7th one. Okay. So table topics is the most favorite, followed by evaluation, and we have 4 people responding so far. Eight responses. Why would somebody want to be an audience all that? But that's the 7th rule. So the top preference is prepared speeches, followed by table topics, and this is keeping on increasing. We have around 8 responses so far. I'll stop at 12 responses just to get ahead. Okay. So 11 responses say table topic is the most favorite, prepared speeches and evaluation. 3 of the most speaking parts are coming ahead. Okay, you guys are lying to me because nobody likes evaluations, especially giving evaluations. And if there is a VP education in the room, we know how much we struggle to get evaluators. They're just being kind to me because I'm giving a session on evaluation. But that happens all the time. And that's why when we are going into the evaluation workshop, let's talk a little bit on the mindset and the methodology. And I'm going to spend some time on it. But the second part which I want to do, I'm just moving to the next question, is coming up. What do you want to learn from this session? I have a set of slides. I can emphasize on some, I can reduce some of this thing. Can you just put in one sentence, just something I want to understand, I want to learn, I want to focus on, or I want an answer to this question. Whatever you want from this session, just put it up. I'll try to take this up during the session. Transitions. So if somebody wants to learn about transitions, win the contest. Good. Focus on shedding stage fear. Okay. Shedding stage fear is like shedding weight. You can't do it just because you wish for it. You have to work for it. Also, it can come back if you are not practicing enough. So this is a continuous thing which you have to do. How to give good comments to an average speaker. How about good comments to a bad speaker? That is like the worst thing we can do. Giving feedback. Know how to close an evaluation after giving a recommendation in CRC. Conclusion. Upkill. S. How to link the speech with our evaluation. Learn from somebody who has experienced this. Just call me up anytime. I can talk for hours on this. This is my favorite topic. Okay, good evaluation. I want to give a good evaluation. Confidence for standing on the stage. And how to avoid shivering during speaking. Okay, you have heard those exercise bands they put around the knees. You can just lock your knees and stand straight. It's not going to help you, but think about something like this. Shivering is... who is shivering? Can I know who was that? Please, that is the first step. Once you acknowledge you have a problem, we can move forward faster. Okay, so more or less I understand how this is going. What I'm going to tell you that okay, I'm going to tell you the same rules apply. Whatever rules you like, whether it is the prepared speech, table topics, evaluations, or any rules you take in Toastmasters, the things which I'm going to tell, same rules will apply most of the places. Some of these rules can be applied outside the room also. Even in Vidya, when she told us a lot about storytelling and all this, you'll find a lot of elements coming in. You know, when you spend enough time in Toastmasters, you start hearing the same stories over and over again. You hear stories about people dealing with failure and succeeding, people trying to overcome something, people motivating and all this. There are a limited set of stories which get repeated. Similarly, same rules apply. So that's the theme of this presentation. I had to make a new presentation because of Libby. She challenged me yesterday, what you are giving us an old presentation only. So I made a completely new presentation just for her. And I wanted to come with her. Okay. So let me start. This is visible? Yeah. just did this, your favorite role and what you want to learn, and we'll focus on this also. Now we are going to focus on three things. What is the mindset during an evaluation? Why? Why that mindset is important? Why are you giving evaluation? Second question is method. How do we give evaluation? What constitutes a good evaluation? And the third part is how do we measure whether we are doing is good, right, bad, can we win the contest because of that or not? It's easily focused on this. Does this seem similar or familiar to anybody? Yeah. Good, Jiran. This is the same thing. Same rules apply here also. We are just focusing from why of things. We start with the why and go ahead. So my first question to you is, why is an evaluator? Who is an evaluator and why is he so different in the meetings? We have a prepared speaker, we have a team out, we have table topic speaker who comes impromptu and speaks. But why is evaluator a very, very specific kind of a person who is different from everybody in the room? Something only he does which nobody else does. Point out flaws. Okay, we can put it in a better way, like let's say, give recommendations. Give this. Is there anybody else who can give recommendations in the meeting? Yeah, but he gives it for the meeting. This guy, for 3 minutes, he's the only one who is given an opportunity or is entitled to express opinions. You can go to anybody in the room, but this person is invited by the club structure to come and give his opinion. It's a very powerful role that way. The general evaluator can just say 1 or 2 sentences. He is encouraged not to spend too much time on that. And many times, the general evaluator doesn't even talk to the evaluator. They are just scot free once they give their evaluation. It happens all the time. Like it used to make me mad all the time because we used to have something called as life circles in Mulund. All the prepared speakers are sitting together, working together. How do we improve? The role players are working together. The XCOM is sitting in a corner and doing. And the evaluator was just, exam ka paper khatam ho gaya, now we can chat and all these things. It was too much fun. But I realized these are the only people who have a very, very strong opinion on the content, delivery of the speech. And they are the only person who can go away and get away with it. So remember this all the time. A prepared speaker is there to learn, improve himself. Likewise, an evaluator is also there to learn. Same rules apply. But the evaluator is the only person in the meeting who is in a much more powerful position to give an opinion, express that opinion. Always remember that differentiates your role. And because you are entitled to express your opinion, it is very, very important that you value your own opinion. Your opinion matters. A lot of time we feel, I am just 1 year into Toastmasters. The speaker has spent 3 years. How can I evaluate him? Doesn't matter. There is a reason why you are selected. The XCOM is a set of intelligent people who get the right people to do evaluations. And your opinion matters. Why does your opinion matter? Because of 2 reasons. One, you have been given time to express that opinion. So of course it matters, you have to come up with something which is important. But the second thing is the speaker is dependent on you. Anybody who has joined Toastmasters, not for the sake of learning, please raise your hand. Do you know anybody in any of the Toastmasters club who joins Toastmasters because it is just fun and no learning? Have you ever met a Toastmaster who is not willing to accept feedback or ask for feedback? The same way a speaker is entitled to and wants the feedback. For him, your opinion matters. Even if it is bad, even if it is not in the right direction which is okay, even if it is something which he cannot accept, he wants that opinion. Your opinion matters to him. Like if I am giving a speech today, or Vidya gave a entire session today, she's constantly trying to engage you. Humor, other things, audience interactions, trying to get your inputs. For what? To see how engaged you are or everything. Okay? When your evaluator is standing and giving, he is expressing that opinion. It is much more important to a speaker. I know speakers who after their speech sit and take a video recording of the evaluator. And then the evaluator says some really bad things. And that video is never seen again. But it is never deleted also. Because you don't feel like deleting because it was valuable feedback for you. And over a period of time, you will see that opinion keeps on repeating. For me, I get a constant feedback, my energy levels are very low in a speech. Why? Because years of corporate, I have toned myself to not be very dramatic, not be very excited about numbers. Like most of the times, The numbers are not very good. I have to say, oh, we had a loss. No, I can't do that. So I have to tone down and say, there is a loss in this thing. So the opinion matters. Remember that whichever stage you are, even if you're a beginner, you're doing it for the first time, you're doing it for the third time or the 100th time, give importance to your opinion. Any questions? Second part on the mindset is have confidence in yourself. Okay? If the speaker is wanting to learn from you, firstly have confidence that you can deliver, but also have the confidence that the speaker wants to listen from you and learn from you. At the most for that 3 minutes, just have that confidence. You may feel that you are giving a point which is not very strong. The speaker is very bad, but you're still holding back some feedback. But have that confidence. Now, how do you get that confidence? You have to fake it. Many times you have to fake that confidence till you are able to make it. But often if you do it, you realize the pattern, and if you use the cheat sheet which you are showing, you will have a lot of matter. Once you have done your homework, your confidence easily comes. See, many times what happens, we are listening to a speech, we get engrossed in that speech. We start looking at the speech. And as an evaluator, when you look at it, you start finding flaws. Your mental records are already starting. Oh, the speech is about a trip. I'm going to start with a quote, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Already your processing is starting. Put that on a hold for a while. Think about how do you do your homework. And that's what the cheat sheet is going to do. Has that been circulated, or I'll tell you when to circulate, or people get distracted with it. Okay? So confidence is something, it's not just confidence in yourself. The more important thing over here is have the confidence in the speaker, that he's going to listen to me, he's going to accept my feedback, and he has the maturity to forgive my errors. This is the most important thing. Because sometimes you feel, I don't feel comfortable giving a bad feedback. How can I be negative? How can I say bad things to a person? I don't even know that person. It's okay, your opinion matters. And the idea is to find out ways and practice how you can deliver bad news in a good way. My boss once told me, as leaders, you are responsible to motivate your team in good, bad, and ordinary times. So whether the speech is good, bad, or ordinary, you have to motivate it, and you will learn that from practice. And for that, you will have to stick out your neck and say things which may feel bad. And you'll figure out, okay, I can't say it this way. You're not going to say, oh, it's horrible floor plan. The entire backstage was not used completely. First day you will do that. Next time you'll come up with a better way. I would have loved you to come on this side. This audience was missing eye contact with you. And you'll find that nice ways to spin the truth. Put it in a context which is more acceptable, which can be digested easily. Okay, so have confidence in yourself that you can do that, and confidence in the speaker that they can do that. And this is the best, like if you don't take anything away from this session, just take this point. An evaluation speech is nothing but a table topic. A table topic is one word, one sentence, one scenario, or 3 words or whatever, but not more than 4 to 5 words given to us. And how many minutes we speak on that? 2.5 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes? Yeah. An evaluation speech is for 3.5 minutes. On a 7-minute speech or a 7.5-minute speech, you are just supposed to speak. Means you take up challenges, or we saw a lot of people like table topics because you speak for 2 minutes on something which is just one sentence. Here we are talking about 700 words of a speech. It's just a table topic, nothing else. And if you want to build this mindset, you know what I started doing for myself? I stopped carrying notes. So every time I go for evaluation, I make my notes, then I crumble it and throw it away. Because then it feels very embarrassing to pick up the crumbled paper. Once you make your notes, just throw it away. Because your homework is done. Try it when you feel comfortable. Because I hate it when people go and do their evaluations either with a notebook, or sometimes they will balance it like this on the arm or on the hip, and the floor plan, and everything goes for a toss, and whatever they are advising, they don't follow. The eye contact is missing. They don't walk around because of that book. And most of the times, because there is a book, they write down the entire evaluation. And that's where sometimes you will hold yourself back, because you are using a lot of it. So we have a contest on 23rd. You don't want to do this immediately. For the contest, maybe use just a page. The page I am giving is going to be good enough. Trust me, I have used it many times. Okay, now let's go to method. What do we focus upon? You know the CRC method. Anybody knows the full form of that? And conclusion. Okay. There is a CRS method which is recommended by Toastmasters, which is commendation, recommendation, and summary. Okay, which is a good format for a beginner to learn, and it's good to do that. The problem with this method is everybody knows it and everybody explains it. First part of my speech, evaluation speech, is going to be what I like, good parts, which is commendation. Then I'm going to give recommendations, and then I will summarize. But first I will tell what I like, what I don't like. How many seconds we have in an evaluation? Plus 30 seconds grace. So 210 seconds. So when you say a sentence which is, I want to give my evaluation in 3 parts. I will start with what I love, second what I didn't like, what could be better, and third I'm going to summarize. You have till you lost 15 seconds, which could be used to say one nice word, one nice sentence for the speaker. Be mindful of that 210 seconds. I'm going to tell you how to break it up also. That is the method of this thing. But each and every second matters. So when we are looking at what to focus, my suggestion is don't focus on telling how you are going to give it. Give it straight away. Why do you want to say, I'm first going to talk about the positive points? People will know you are talking about the positive points. You don't need to announce it. Okay? So the first point we need to focus upon whenever you give a speech is about the purpose. In clubs, whenever a speaker speaks, we have a evaluation sheet which calls out the speaker is going to attempt a project related to body language, vocal variety, engaging the audience, everything. In contest, it's not there. But the speeches can be divided in different ways. There are motivational speeches and there are inspirational speeches. What is the difference between motivation and inspiration? Are they same?
Motivation lasts for some time.
So what is the shelf life of motivation?
This is what I heard.
A motivation speech is something which makes you feel good, positive, something, it increases your level of awareness that there is something is possible. An inspirational speech will take you one step further, make you act. It will have a call for action. There are descriptive speeches, humorous speeches. There are informative speeches. In 2019, I was sitting in Pune for the evaluation contest. Sanjay from Chatterjee Club won. There were 8 champions who stood for the finals. It is 2019. 4 years back, I remember exactly how his speech started. He was the last speaker of the day, and the speaker spoke about music, how music is important to the life. Every evaluator came and spoke what a motivational speech it is. And Sanjay started his evaluation. If your purpose was to motivate us about the importance of music, you are right on target. But if you wanted to inspire us to pick up a musical instrument, your speech is falling short. And here's what you can do. And this is how he started the evaluation. The minute he uttered those 3 sentences, he won it. This time, did you see the evaluation contest this time, which Amit won? Yeah. He used a very nice sentence in his evaluation. So the speaker was telling about how you should be aware of your shortcomings. That life is too short and understand your shortcomings and flaws. And everybody came and said, wow, what a motivational speech. You told us how to look within ourselves and find our errors. Amit comes in and says, thank you for motivating us in this way, but you have dug a hole in my boat. What do I do next? So he clearly told it was motivational, but it's not enough. It's not at an inspirational level. The purpose of the speech is very important to understand. Why do we want to hear this? What is the speaker trying to say? Is he motivating us, informing us? Is he educating us? And let me tell you, many times the speaker itself is not clear. Why? Because he looks at the objective. I am supposed to do vocal variety. He never thinks about motivation at that point of time. In fact, when I tell my mentees to work on vocal variety, I tell them just tell a fairy tale. Write a fairy tale for your son, daughter, niece, nephew, and go and blurt it out. Or else you will get this feedback kind of be motivational and all this, which is not required. You need to develop vocal variety skills and everything. But again, understand what appeals to the listener, what the judges, people are listening. Because in a contest, there are 5 judges who are listening to you. And if they feel this was a humorous speech, and you are saying it is a motivational speech, and others are saying it is an inspirational speech, there is already a lot of confusion. In one of the area contests when I did this, everybody said what an inspirational speech the speaker has given, and I went and said it was a humorous speech. I also love that you were able to build a message in the humorous speech, and I love your deadpan way of delivery. The speaker was not very animated, he was not very dramatic. So instead of saying you need to work on body language, I said, oh, you have a deadpan way of working. There are very few stand-up comedians who do that very good, and you can work with that. So this is about the purpose. Identify what is the purpose in your words. Now the question is, how do we identify in our words? Think about it. How do we summarize stories? These are few stories which I wrote down. Can you identify which movies this belong to? Just a one line for each movie. Three friends discover the true meaning of life. Why not Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara? Or why not Kal Aajkal? Yeah. Right? And none of the girls are discovering meaning of life. I don't know why. They all have boys. They are more than three. But even then, anyways, we'll talk about that gender bias. A scientist who hates kids, who scares a kid right at the beginning of the movie, ends up taking care of two kids in a sci-fi movie. No, he loves his kid. The movie is about finding his kids.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is like a dinosaur typing. When I say dinosaur, yeah. Oh. So Jurassic Park in the beginning is scaring the kid. I hate kids. Kids smell. He says all these things. Yeah. Okay, it's there. Trust me. Okay, but at the end of the movie, he's working on saving them. Okay, what is the purpose? Again, how the movie is defined. Somebody may say, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara is about going on trip with your friends. But somebody can also say it's finding meaning for your life or building relations. The second one is not about bringing dinosaurs and back to life and how life finds its own way or something, but it's about a person finding that he can challenge his own beings and essence. A good man hires Batman to rescue Sholay, right? But Sholay can stand for something else. It can be a story of friendship. It can be a story of eternal good versus bad we have covered. It can be a story of revenge. It's Thakur's revenge at the end of that. The purpose can be defined in your way and the speaker's way, in a way that people can nod, saying, yes, I understand, I agree, the speech was about this. To set things right, an unlikely hero emerges as a vegetarian. Every superhero movie, Batman goes with the theme, but who is an Indian version of Batman, can you tell me? Huh? Nah, Shaktiman is Superman, so trust me, it is Shehenshah. Because he comes out at night, he's wearing a beard and he just goes in bottom city of Andheri. Nowhere else he goes. Why Andheri? Because the song is Andheri Raton. But this is my favorite part. The father makes a promise that he will return to his kid. And he fulfills it. Interstellar. Read up on this story. This is a beautiful part. This is how the director Christopher Nolan described Interstellar to the musician Hans Zimmer. I want you to give a music which is not for a sci-fi movie, but a movie about a father who makes a promise. And Hans Zimmer was very, very engrossed in this because he just became a father around that time. So he could relate to it and felt it. So when you hear a speech, think about what is the purpose. How do I see it as a purpose? Does the speaker sees it in the same way? Okay. So that was one part. Second is, what was good about the speech? Now I always advise, say at least 5 good things in 5 sentences about the speech. That's why there are these 5 thumbs up. Why? Because you're going to say bad things or improvement areas next. So before that, it's important for good manners to grease, to lubricate the process by saying nice things. But don't just stop at saying good things. Use one best thing to stand out your evaluation. What was the best thing about this speech? Dhananjay Hitarachi's speech, what was the best thing about it? I see something. The quote itself was very powerful. What else was good? The prop. How many of you have seen Dhananjay Hitarachi's speech? What do you remember? The humor? Put them all together? Okay. The acting? the emotions when you see your mother cry. There are many things which are good, and you can call out anything, but call out one thing which is going to be wow, best thing about the speech. Why is that? Because you're saying good, 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 and then you say bad, bad, bad. Your graph goes like this. I want you to say good, good, great, and bad, bad, bad. You're still on an upward graph. This is how my finance mind convinced myself we should do this. Okay? Then give 3 recommendations at least. Why? Because there are 30 points for recommendation sections. 10 points each. Try to give 3. Often you will land up with 1 or 2. The third one can be a challenge, but at least be ready with 3 recommendations. And that's how the cheat sheet has been done. And we will tell you in the method how to use the cheat sheet also, so you can find it. So this is how the cheat sheet looks like. Can you circulate it? Yeah. So what you can see in this cheat sheet is so today's speaker, we are going to utilize this sheet to evaluate. I'm going to take 5 minutes more, I think. Okay, heads up. Okay. Okay, there are some pens here if you need. ले लो एक पे मेरा नहीं है. Okay, if it is extra, keep it. Okay, so each and every point on this cheat sheet has taken me years to perfect. A lot of mistakes which I did myself, I have incorporated in them, but a lot of other people's mistakes also I have captured. Like I remember an evaluation when the evaluator forgot the name of the speaker. So I start right at the top, what is the speaker's name, what is the topic and how much time they take. Then I go into the purpose, what is the objective? Is there a specific objective or a general objective? This comes from old school. But try to define it. It is just to entertain or it is to give a particular message. Then we go into 2 parts. It's not over here, but pick up this sheet. What you will see is the next part. Okay, so we are commenting on 2 parts, which is content and delivery. Now why these things are written over here is so that it's easy for you to take notes. So that you can just take, is there an opening, middle and end? Tick mark. Is there a personal story? Tick mark. That's it. If you don't do tick marks, you will end up writing the entire sentence. The speaker had a very good personal story. You're wasting time when you're writing. You should think more, write less in an evaluation. As per my technique, you follow your own or how it feels to you. So I've divided this into 2 parts. One is on content, one is on delivery. In delivery, you will see body language, voice modulation, floor plan. Just put a tick, yes or no to that. After every speech, you get around 5 minutes as an evaluator to make your notes. That's when you start putting all the ticks and crosses over here. Whatever is tick mark, it goes into the good part. You can write your sentence on what was good and try to see how do you want to expand it. Out of all the ticks, you can find out one thing which was great. Pull it down as a separate lead. Use 1 or 2 sentences, 10 to 15 seconds to emphasize on it. And there are certain things which are obvious, which we keep in a separate corner. Like the most obvious things in a speech we speak about is floor plan, eye contact, body language and voice modulation. And many times people are not comfortable to comment on the content. Like a lot of speeches you will see, we end up thanking because I came to Toastmasters, my life changed and everything. I hate those speeches. Because Toastmasters is many things to many people, but you can't bring that to each and every speech. There's one of the best clubs in Mumbai where every speech ends with this, thanking Toastmasters for everything. And if I go as an evaluator, I said, you don't need to quote great quotes or great institutions to make your speech right. Make your speech stand up on yourself and your delivery, rather than every time bringing it back to Toastmasters. But again, that's my philosophy. If you feel comfortable, do that. And then there are 3 recommendation places for this. All the X's which are coming in, please take them into recommendation. And if you have one more recommendation, sometimes the speaker is bad, but keep a ratio. You have given 5 good points, 1 great point, 6. So I keep a 2:1 ratio. If I'm giving 6 good points, then I'll give 3 recommendations. But if there is something really, really crazy with the speech, like you don't want to say it or you feel like if I don't say it, I won't be very, very like project objective has not been met or something, then turn it into a challenge. I challenge you to repeat this speech with this thing. I challenge you to repeat this speech in the next club with this thing. That helps in putting across a very nice buttered message across. And lastly, there is summary. Why summary is important? Because in a contest you have 15 marks for it. And it's easy to lose this 15 marks because you are having long-winded communication around other things. I'll tell you where, and that brings me to the next part on what we should not do in an evaluation. Okay? So, like we have a to-do list, I feel we should have a not to-do list also. But often we get carried away and we are so focused on the to-do list, we never make a not to-do list. So try doing this. Like there are serials on Netflix and Prime Video which are on my not to-do list. I know that I am not going to watch them. Okay, like Jawan is on my not to-do list. I don't want to see that crap. I want to see Jailer with Rajnikant. That's my to-do list. Okay, it will help. Now, where do we waste time? As I told you, 210 seconds. And every word is 1 second. Where are you wasting time? Firstly, you repeat parts of the speech. Today, the speaker took us through a beautiful speech where he talked about his growth in Lucknow, moving to Bombay, and now working in Pune. Why? The audience has heard it. What possible good you are doing by repeating a portion of the speech? Start with the purpose. The speaker told us about his life journey in a detailed and inspirational manner. Done with that part. Be very cautious. Train yourself not to waste time. Even saying that I am going to break my evaluation into 3 parts has elements of wasting your time. Spend too much time on the title. There is a club which I know in Gujarat, and they specifically, all the evaluators, every time I go, first connect with the title of the speech. I see something in you, I love this title so much. When I heard this title, I thought somebody was talking to me. 4 to 5 sentences, they will talk only on the title. You can just say the title helps in transitions and move on. Be very, very ruthless with your words and the seconds which you have. It doesn't help to spend that much time on it because at the end of the day, you are flirting with the speaker in a way. Oh, I love your speech. I got goosebumps when I heard you. Okay, it touched my heart. It reminded me of my childhood. What are you doing? You are doing this kind of things when you engage with a person, interact with them and want to be social. But this is just a professional evaluation at a very high level. You can do without it, especially in a contest. Don't waste time doing that. The year I won the evaluation contest, there was a guy from Pune who was doing the evaluation and the speech was about a person who is getting lost. And the speaker was talking about some lanes of Pune. And one of my competitors was from Pune. He spent 45 seconds emphasizing on how he and the speaker come from the same place and Pune's roads are like this and all this. And I was like, yes, 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 one more off the list. Because you can see damage happening. You don't need to sense it across. So I'm putting it in a very provocative language. Don't flirt with the speaker. Just be very, very straightforward. Be as professional as possible. Spend time on the title of the speech I read. Don't apologize for an evaluation. One of the speeches I heard in my club was how chai sutta breaks help in bonding. The evaluator who stood for evaluation went and said, you should have said smoking is injurious to health. Are you encouraging people to smoke? And then, saying that also, she went 2 steps further and said that, I'm sorry, this is my opinion. I feel this way. You may not agree with me. And I'm hearing the words, like every time they use that word for apologizing, being sensitive, being humble in front of it. It is in my humble opinion, it is this way. All this is costing you time and words, which can be used to fill up 210 seconds. It goes like this. If your cheat sheet is filled in correctly, if your notes are ready, if your homework is done, you will be struggling for 3.5 minutes. So avoid this kind of things. I don't do this. I'll encourage you not to do this. But it takes a lot of confidence in yourself and the speaker. How can I say directly this to the speaker? He wants to learn. He wants to grow. How can I, as somebody who is feeling this, put out a negative word? You can apologize to the speaker afterwards. After the 3 minutes are up, reach out to him. I'm sorry, my evaluation seemed a little bit hard. I felt like this. What do you feel? Do that after, not during the contest time or the minutes, the 3 minutes which you have. Be completely engaged in those 3 minutes. And humble brag is, in my humble opinion, I don't know why. When you say your opinion matters, when you believe in that, why go into humble opinion and all this? This is a trend on LinkedIn. You see that all the time. I am glad to tell that I have been appointed as a CFO of this new company. I humbly acknowledge my first prize or something. What the hell? Okay? Don't be negative. This is a tricky one. You have to focus and comment on the speech and the delivery, not on the speaker. And try to improve the content and delivery. Don't try to justify it. This is a very tricky one. In the last year's contest, there was a gentleman who was speaking from Gulf. And while he was giving his speech, he kept looking to his left. And I was so full of myself in the evaluation, I told him that I saw that as a strong prepared speaker, you still have some notes you are referring to. It's a negative way of saying that you're not maintaining eye contact with an online forum. The person who came after me made me kick myself. Because she said, I saw you were so stressed for time that you kept looking at the clock and you lost eye contact. Same thing, but I talked about notes, she spoke about clock. And I said, damn, I lost this. It's sometimes very, very easy to find out that you're messing up and somebody else is getting it right. So avoid being negative. But that doesn't mean you don't have to give bad comments or this. You have to put it in a way with practice that it sounds very positive and nice. And if it still comes across negative, be ready to apologize to the speaker afterwards. And how to do this? Be polite in your this. Don't say, in my humble opinion, say, I feel it felt short a little bit. I would have loved a little bit more. For example, somebody is not doing enough voice modulation. Instead of saying your voice modulation was shit, you can say your voice modulation was there, but I wanted to see a little bit more of it, especially in this section. It's a very nice way of saying the same thing, because you're asking for the opposite thing. This is the most important one. Don't forget the timer. This is where you lose your 15 points for the summarization. So what I do is, I constantly look at the cards and try to gauge where I am. So if I have 210 seconds, I open 20 seconds with a purpose. Thanking the speaker. Thank you for giving me an inspiring, motivational, informative, descriptive, whatever kind of message. And this was my takeaway. 20 seconds I fix that. Then I start 60 seconds, 10 seconds each, what I like. And the last 10 seconds is what was the best part of the speech. Then I go into recommendations. Now when you give recommendation, it is not recommendation just you have to say, do body language, do voice modulation. You have to demonstrate it. If you're telling about pauses, then you have to show that you can do pauses before you say an important word and after the word, and frame it. There are beautiful ways in doing this. Just on pauses, there are so many phases you can use. I'll teach you 2-3 of them today when we do the evaluation. And last 30 seconds is to summarize. That means your good points or your recommendations should start before the yellow card comes in. If your yellow card comes in and your recommendations are not started, you're already losing out time. And if the red card comes up, you have to start summarizing. Even if you're not giving your recommendation, just give a recommendation very quickly and move to the summary. You need at least 20 seconds to summarize. You see the red card, you will have to close your earlier sentence and move into recommendations. It works. I have worked with so many people who were not even hitting the yellow card in recommendations. Now they can confidently hit 3.5 minutes with this. And ekdam aisa last dot tak 3.28 seconds tak ja sakte hain. So try this out. This is the judges ballot. The most important piece of information in the contest but outside also. Why is it important in Toastmasters is because this is what they are encouraging. Firstly, they are giving the highest points for your analytical quality, which comes in from the good points you are telling and the recommendation. So those 70 marks for recommendation and analytical qualities are together. But look at the recommendation portion. They are saying the last line, he or she should offer specific recommendations for improvement, which doesn't happen. Sometimes the recommendations are just that you did not use the floor correctly, you did not have eye contact. You have to tell them, have eye contact with people. I felt that you were not having enough eye contact with the person over there. It would be great if you can stand and say 3 points to this person, then move on to the next person. Or if you're scared at looking at a person, look at their foreheads. This kind of recommendation, how to inspire and motivate the speaker. Then there is a technique. Now, a lot of people feel technique means you need to have a very fancy way of giving an evaluation with a structure or something. Yes, that will differentiate. But the technique which is defined over here is, are you sensitive to the speaker? The speaker is coming and giving an emotional speech about losing a family member, and you go around and said, very nice speech, I liked it, I hope you will give it again. Why would somebody want to give that kind of speech again and again? Are you sensitive to what they are saying? Okay? Are you able to inspire and encourage them? You can do better, a little bit more. Can you do this in a better way? I wanted to see more of this. Can you practice a little bit more? There was a speaker in our club who was giving his second speech in the old one, and he was supposed to speak for 7 minutes. At 3 minutes, he stopped speaking. At 3 minutes 30 seconds, he still did not begin. 3 minutes 60 seconds or 4 minutes, he was still not starting. At the end of 4.5 minutes, with over 1.5 minutes of silence, he started repeating the earlier section again. And in 6.5 minutes, he just closed it with an apology that he's going to do it again. The evaluator was one of our veteran Toastmasters, Anandan. He came in and he gave the evaluation. And we were sitting next to him and they said, don't worry, he will be kind to you. We were trying to motivate you, don't worry, you did well, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And we thought the evaluator is going to rip him apart with jokes, with funny things, because Anandan was a very funny person. Anandan went into a motivational way. He did not refer to that goof up even once. Between 3 to 6 minutes, this person was quiet. Anandan did not refer to that part in his evaluation at all. He spoke about the 3 minutes what he did and how he can do it better. And said just one sentence, when you practice more, let's hear this speech again. That's how you are able to inspire and motivate a speaker. Your test speaker is not going to be in that way. But in this club, outside the club, you will find a lot of people like this. If you start working and you have reportees with you or peers with you, it will be easy to find that they are doing mistakes. It's easy to find out what are the flaws and all this. But you know, when you do a mistake and you know your boss or somebody knows about it and he doesn't say anything about it and still acts very friendly with you, the kind of respect, appreciation, the relation and the bond which you build with that person is amazing. I had a boss who used to be very cleanliness freak. Every time he used to clean his desk and everything. And one day I went into a meeting with him. We were presenting my slides and doing this thing. And he saw my laptop and it was dirty. He did not say anything to me. He opened his drawer and there was this fancy kit of this spray, brush and everything. For half an hour we were in the meeting. I was sitting like this. And he was cleaning my laptop very, very carefully as if it was his own. After that, every time I went into his cabin, I didn't even look at the laptop, I used to look at myself also, how I am doing. So that is the power of giving motivation in a very nice way. Toastmasters will teach you to do this. If you feel this is a place where you are giving bad feedback or feedback which is going to hurt people, I'm sorry I'm going overboard, but just important, okay? It's very important to know that you have the power to give a very positive, specific recommendation or hold back your recommendation. In a contest, don't hold back. But when you are in club or something, think about how do you want to motivate it. You're not going to get a lot of chance to do this. You know, people will ask you for feedback, and as experienced Toastmasters, you will get sometimes arrogant saying, your floor plan was not great. You can say this in a better way. Why did you stand here? Did you only wanted to deliver the speech to Vidya? Because Sunish couldn't hear you there. You try to say things in different ways and try to break it in ways that inspires and motivates the person. I wish you could have done voice modulation better. It's a very weird recommendation. You can just tell them, why don't you talk like Santa Claus? Everybody can talk like Santa Claus. A big fat man is here. That's a way of telling recommendations. Okay? So analytical quality, technique and summation. Techniques you will develop, sometimes depend on the speaker only. There are expert speakers who will come up with jargons like, today I thought of a car when I saw your speech. C for content, A for analysis or something, and they make up. I can't do that. If you can do that, good. Sometimes they go with the name of the person. Oh, Priya gave us such a nice speech, so P for perfect, R for this thing. I remember 2 or 3 speakers in my club itself, including Toastmaster Avinash, who just stopped midway because the time ran out. Avinash was doing one of the speeches where there was a hexagon on the walls, and looking at the hexagon he got inspired. The speech reminded me of 6 sides of hexagon. The first side is this, second side is this, third side is this. Before he could come to the fourth side, time was over. So be very, very conscious about how do you want to, at least in a contest, don't take unnecessary risks. Focus on things which are going to get you marks. School में, college में ही करते हैं ना marks के लिए. You don't write flowery languages when you know marks are important. What to underline, what to not underline. Focus on that way. But practice in the club. How do you want to do it better? So with that, let the games begin. Who is our first speaker?
Would like to take a break?
Yeah, sure. If you have any questions also, I am during the break also there, and I've shared my number, so anybody can drop me a message. But let me take one question at least. Any questions, anything on this? Did we cover the topics you said?
So the speaker tells the objective in advance?
The evaluator reads out things in advance generally in a club meeting.
So you know whether it's motivational or not?
Not really, because sometimes the evaluation, the Toastmaster projects are in a way that every project has an objective, but the speech can have multiple objectives.
So my question is, suppose the person reading it as motivational and the evaluation like the inspiration not catch that out. So what if I misinterpret?
But you need to express your opinion. Like you think you gave a motivational speech, I thought it was inspirational. You think you gave me a descriptive speech, I got inspired by it. And you tell the purpose, you connect with the speaker.
No, but if it's a mismatch, then the speaker loses out.
No, not really. The speaker has worked with the objective. See, in Toastmasters, when the pathway projects are given, generally a lot of clubs have mentors who guide the speaker on the speech. But the VP education also checks whether the project objectives are met or not. So if I stand here and I am supposed to give a speech on vocal variety, and I give a very dry speech, I am not meeting the vocal variety objective. The evaluator will still come and say it was a motivational, inspirational, informative speech, you need to work on vocal variety. And the VP education will go back to him and say, I think we want to repeat the speech because you are not meeting the objective. So two different things. And contest it is completely different. This is more like the contest preparation we are talking here.
So in the contest, they tell you in advance or the speaker?
No, contest nothing is told in advance. Speaker's name is also not disclosed.